On-Demand HR members gain unlimited access to our growing library of online training courses for both employees and line managers. We recently sat down with On-Demand HR member Glyn Henman from Young Life Australia to ask how rolling out bullying, discrimination, and sexual harassment training has added value to his organisation.
The little training videos that you sent us, or that that we're trying to get our staff to do right now on bullying and discrimination and harassment, it just sets us up for a common understanding. Because, different people have different understandings. Oh, you bullied me because you said something harsh to me. Well, actually, you weren't doing your job. That's not called bullying. I have an expectation that you'll do your job because we're paying you this money to do your job. Well, don't bully me. Asking you to do your job is not bullying you. So it sets everybody up on that same playing field so that when those things are happening, people can go, this is not bullying. Or actually, this is repeated harassment, or whatever it is. They're picking on me. That is bullying. It gives us a clear understanding of what that all is. And everyone's working off the same parameters, which has been really helpful as well.
What we've tried to do with that space in particular is we've done a lot of investigations work, as we would have alluded to probably in our introduction. And what we've tried to do with that is reflect on, okay, we've done over 100 investigations into bullying, harassment, discrimination claims. What have we learned about those things? So a lot of training providers who gives this sort of training on bullying, harassment, discrimination, they do so from a position of theory only. So they do so from a position of never actually having to have run an investigation, speak to a complainant, respondent, witnesses, those sort of things. And what we found quite overwhelmingly, and was quite interesting, was that the majority of complaints we actually dealt with were unsubstantiated. So what actually the majority is, it's based on a misunderstanding of actually what bullying, harassment, and discrimination is. And it's often a common kind of, let's call it a protection mechanism for someone just to avoid criticism. So often you will get a supervisor who's just doing their job, managing a person, and the bullying or harassment complaint is an outcome. So what our training has tried to do is anticipate in advance those types of complainants and try and, as you said, bring a common understanding about what these concepts are. But not only that, we also sort of advocate for self-action. So we talk about self-action a lot, and a lot of people think, well, if I've got a problem, the first thing I should do is go to my supervisor or manager. Well, not necessarily. Sometimes it's actually better and more appropriate and more harmonious in the long run for that individual just to go to the person who is causing them the problem. If they feel, safe and reasonable to do so. Some situations that's not appropriate, but a lot of situations it is. And in actual fact, that might be slightly uncomfortable in the short term, but in the long term, let's call it the respondent or the perpetrator or the alleged perpetrator will often, that'll often set up a better long-term situation than just going through a formal process. So I appreciate your thoughts on that as well.